Alright, we got the twins back on. So yesterday was Australia Day. Spent the day pulling the original single draft Strommy off and putting the twins back on. So if you watch a couple of other videos, you notice that I had real bad flooding in this front carb. So what I've done off camera, I've pulled these carbs apart, cleaned everything way back out. Even though they're reconditioned, I just cleaned them all out, reset all the floats manually. I made a new fuel line here because one of these fittings was binding up, so not sure if that was too tight on the needle and seat there, don't know. But and the other thing is I've kept the grey motor fuel pump on, so they're a little bit lower pressure as well. I run the later style red, blue, black motor, whatever you want to call it, on my drag car with triple Strombergs on a grey motor, and I've never had a problem with it flooding, so I don't think that was a problem, but I've left that on there just to take that out of the equation anyway. So anyway, it's on there, it's running, I'm not leaking. I've got the choke set up, even though I'm not running a choke, it's just more so to keep the butterflies shut, but these return springs also stop that from happening. I'm going to run the original return spring as well, so it's got 3 return springs on it, so it's nice and safe. But yeah, anyway, we're going to run it up, get it to temperature, and I'm going to show you guys how to balance multi Stromberg carbs. Let's do it. Okay, so the first steps to get everything warmed up. Obviously you want to try and get everything as close as you can get it before you start. So I've had it running, I've got it warm. You now disconnect all your linkages, so everything's operating independently. What we're going to do is then use our Unisyn tool, so it's the part number, so you can still buy these news. And you basically put it on a carb while the engine's running. You adjust the airflow through the venturi to get the ball to a reading on one carb, and then you want to place it on the other carb and get the same reading. And the way that you adjust it, so once the tool's set, you don't touch it, and once you've got your mark on where you want it, you basically don't touch the tool. And then you adjust your carb throttle butterfly so that they're both sucking the same rate on the tool. Once they're balanced, you then need to get your linkages back on, and you need to make sure that when you do that, you don't upset any of the settings on your linkages. So you need to be careful with that. And once you've got them all back connected, you then do the same test and make sure you haven't upset anything. So that's pretty much how you do it. We'll run through it and see what we can get. Okay, so with the linkages disconnected, that was idling at about 850 RPM, and I had the Unisyn tool pretty much sitting on the same level, so it was the little red float. The bottom of the red float was sort of on the center line, and occasionally it would hunt up, but that's pretty much where they were set. So the bottom of the tool was on the bottom of the float was on the bottom of the middle line. So they're both set. Now what you can see is when I go to sort of set the linkages on, if I set this front one on, and that's not pulling down on it at all. If I go to set the the front one on, or sorry, the back one on, you can see I would need to pull the lever down. So what I want to do is actually adjust this linkage so it just slips on there. So you can see I'm about half a hole out now that these are set. So I'll fix that linkage, and then we'll start it up, run it, and put the sync tool back on and make sure that we're balanced with it running. Okay, so now I've adjusted this back linkage. You can see that it just slips on and off there without affecting the throttle lever of that back carb. So I've set this one up as the master, this one as the slave. So we just want him, as you can see, it's just slipping on and off there, which is what we want. So we'll put the clip back on to hold that, the spring clip back on, and we'll double check, make sure they're balanced, and make sure the idle's sitting properly. So I've already sort of roughly set the idle screw on these, so I'm not going to muck around with that. I'm just basically setting the throttle position, or the throttle butterfly position at the moment, so that both carbs are sucking in the same amount of air. So anyway, this one's been set up as the master. We've got the linkage, looks like it's happy on that one. We'll chuck it back together and make sure it's still balanced. Okay, so I've mucked around with that. Again, this one was the master, this one was a slave. I've got them pretty much balanced, and I've got the car idling at about 500 RPM, which is about right. I think the book says, like on a standard engine, about 480 to 520 RPM. So this is idling at about 500, which is fine. Obviously, if you've got different camshafts and what have you, you'll be doing it slightly different. Yeah, this is putting away, starting easy, doing all the things it should do at 500, so that's what I've got it set at. So anyway, that's all sort of done and balanced. Next step's to connect my throttle pedal back up without upsetting anything, and we should be good to go. So let's do that. Idling at probably, what's that? So it's hanging up a little bit, that back carb, but yeah, that's idling at about 600, so a tad higher, sort of coming down, but yeah, it's quite responsive, which is good. That's where we're at now. Car's idling somewhere between 500 and 600 RPM. It's starting real easy, and that's pretty much it. So I'm running, I think I've said on another video, number 70 power valves and number 48 mains, and I'm also running some of Frank Whitby's Venturi restrictors on this setup. This is a standard old engine. I'm not running a camshaft or anything like that. It's just literally the extractors and the twins. As you saw, it's actually quite responsive, which is good. But anyway, we'll leave that there. Hopefully you guys learned something from it. I'm sure there's other people that have better ways of doing things, but that's how I do it. And anyway, the next step will be having this thing at Pete's Hot Rod and Restos Moonshine Run. So we'll get some footage from that. See you there.
Jesus. Oh, fucking awesome. I really want to do like a video shot of like the park flying.
Yeah.
Oh, like this. Nah.
A couple of vehicles we just need to move under the Lorman from the run back line with the H2 Silver Monaro, originally looking nice and clean. H2 Monaro will need to come onto the lawn a little bit more, and a white Lexus. And the original 54 mainline
Oh, go see Chevy. Guessing that.
That's not smokers.
Oh, wait, no, it's not. Tell them to check up. Oh, wait, no, it is.
Gets through on that inside lane, the highway lane, inside lane. DK is standard to crash 380 against the 57 Chevy. Nevertheless, well, lady of the world looks to be the honest on that side, get the other one again.
They got cocky. They got too cocky with us.
I think he wanted to race his mate. Oh, maybe they didn't.
They got cocky with us. They let us go for a couple of things because that car's super fast. They thought they were going to win. But they got 2 copies. That footage I just got then was quite cool because I did it. Yeah. We should do this every time.
Like it?
I don't like it, I love it.